Everyone watching this new Diddy documentary keeps calling him a monster, and he is. But what if the real story is that he didn't create the monster, we did? Because Sean Combs' The Reckoning doesn't just expose one man, it exposes a whole ecosystem that raised him, protected him, fed him, and then blamed his victims for surviving him. I am Vaughn Frazier, creative brand strategist, storyteller, and writer, and today I'm not here to gossip. I'm here to talk about how monsters become made. Because before the fame and the money and the music, there was a little boy growing up in chaos. A mother whose love was mixed with fear, a household where abuse was normal, a father who was gone, adult situations he should have never seen, a childhood full of emotional confusion and survival instincts. That was the lab. That was the stitching table. That was where the first version of the monster was assembled. And science tells us something simple. Kids who grow up in environments like that are 3 to 4 times more likely to become abusive adults, unless someone interrupts the cycle. And nobody interrupted Diddy's cycle. No healing or therapy, accountability or guidance, just pain shaped in charisma and charm, and wounds shaped into ambition, fear, into control. So when people ask, how did he become this? The real answer is, he was already becoming it long before the world knew his name, before he was Diddy. And people love to say money changes you. Nah, no it doesn't. It's simply a magnifying glass, a spotlight, a microphone. Whatever inside you becomes louder. Before Diddy was a billionaire, before he was the face of Bad Boy, before he was puffy, he was already violating boundaries, already controlling women, acting in ways that reveal something dark. You see, money didn't create that monster, it just plugged him into the wall. And there's tons of research on this. Studies from UCLA show that power amplifies the traits that you already have. Generosity gets bigger, cruelty, arrogance, compassion, whatever's inside you, it gets bigger and rises to the surface. So Diddy didn't change, he expanded and scaled, and he became the extreme version of the boy who was shaped in that childhood laboratory. But even that doesn't explain everything, because a monster can't survive without a village. And that's the part that none of us want to talk about. Monsters don't operate alone. They need assistants and gatekeepers. People who look away and say, that's not my business. People who need the paycheck, who are afraid to lose access. People who heard things, saw things, felt things, and said nada. And that silence is a part of the monster. It becomes another limb, another organ, and another heartbeat. Some folks didn't care about the victims. Some had some form of empathy, but they cared more about their careers. Some were afraid, were numb, and some people convinced themselves it wasn't their place to say anything. They were just simply benefiting too much to tell the truth. And this isn't nothing new, y'all. We've seen this before. It's the same mindset that was used on the plantations. There were people who didn't agree with slavery, but they weren't about to disrupt the status quo and a system that fed them, because fear and survival will make a person loyal to the wrong thing. It's basically a diffusion of responsibility. When everyone sees it, nobody feels responsible for stopping it. And so the cycle goes on and on and on. The monster wasn't just Diddy, it was the environment that let him grow. Now this part right here was wild. When Variety reported on the documentary, they quoted an actual juror, a real person who said this out loud, verbatim. Cassie wanted to be with him, one juror said. He's beating her, and the next minute, they're going on dates and trips. It's like going back and forth. And that right there is why so many survivors stay silent, because people like that juror do not understand trauma at all. And in the comments under that article, a woman said something powerful. She said, this is why I believe jurors on SA cases should be specialists and trauma informed. Picking randomers off the street when the normalization of victim blaming is so heavily ingrained in society is allowing perpetrators to get away with so many harms. And y'all, man, listen, she is absolutely right, because trauma bonds are real. Science is real. It's neurologically real. And trauma bonds work like addictions. The brain gets hooked on a cycle of fear, affection, pain, apology, control, and even relief. So when the victims go back to their abuser, they aren't choosing danger. They're responding to trauma, fear, to survival mechanisms and manipulation and emotional dependence that was engineered over time. But when a society is uneducated about trauma, victim blaming becomes the norm, and we see that today. And nobody blames victims more than America, a country built on gaslighting, a country that has told whole communities, you're exaggerating, you're imagining it. That was a long time ago. You're the problem, not the system. And this same exact mindset shows up in relationships, in the workplace, in families, in courtrooms, and now in the jury box of one of the biggest cases in pop culture. So yeah, Diddy is responsible for what he did. There is no excuse for harming people, no justification, no childhood story that erases accountability. But if we only focus on him, then we miss the bigger picture, because monsters like Diddy don't appear out of nowhere. They are shaped, fed, and protected and multiplied by the environment environments they grow up in. A wounded child becomes a wounded adult. A wounded adult with money becomes a bigger threat. And a threat with enablers becomes untouchable. And a society that blames victims, that basically becomes the final ingredient in the monster's creation. The real reckoning, it's not about one man, it's about all of us. How we raise our children and handle power, how we respond to abuse, how we protect and believe survivors, and how we stop participating in systems that make the monsters and then pretend like we don't know why they exist. I am Vaughn Frazier, and this is Frazier's Lounge, where we talk about the things that others may not want to talk about. Because the only way to stop the next monster is to understand how the last one God made. Peace.